Everybody wants to be trending. Boy, if your name appears on the trending list, you're in good shape, right? That's the world that we live in right now. A trend is simply an awareness of a movement towards something. And everybody wants to be trending in social media in today's world. Well, the question that I want to address today is, are there trends that we see as we move through 2022? What trends do we see in ministry? Next up, I'm going to identify 3 trends that I see that we need to be keenly aware of as we use our gifts to serve the Lord. Let's go. Welcome to God Dream University. I'm Bob Upgren. Why does GDU exist? Well, it exists to help you start and grow the ministry that God is calling you to lead. So GDU comes along, people who want to start, and we bring clarity, definition. We help them start that ministry that God's calling them to lead. And we also come alongside ministry leaders who are already leading ministries, and we help them amplify what God has called them to orchestrate. Pretty cool stuff. To that end, before I get into the content, check out the masterclass. It's a free masterclass. The link is in the description. 3 secrets to start and grow your ministry. Doesn't matter whether you are starting or whether you are currently leading a ministry. The content is killer. I got a secret for you. Shh, it's not just 3 secrets. They're actually paradigm shifts. Do you see that? See what I'm doing? This is the universal language for paradigm shift, apparently. So they're paradigm shifts, and they're really going to help you, I think, in a number of ways. Again, if you're starting out, they're going to serve you. If you are leading a ministry, just watch the masterclass. Hey, full disclosure, too, at the end of it, I even show you what God Dream University, the mastermind, looks like on the inside. So check it out. All right, let's get into the content. This is interesting stuff. Trends. We know what trends in. We know what trending is. Everybody wants to be trending. I don't, but I'm not capable of trending, I don't think. At least that's what we're finding out. But trends, it's a movement towards something. Where are things moving? Where are things going towards? And what we want to look at is, are there some trends taking place in ministry? And I want to identify and kind of bring to the forefront 3 trends that I see that we want to be aware of as ministry leaders, as people who are beginning their ministries or as people who are leading their ministries. And the first one is this, and you can about guess this one because it's coming off of, in the year 2022 right now, we have now kind of seemingly moved out of COVID, but virtual is here to stay. So when COVID hit, it obviously initiated and kind of pushed people into the virtual world of ministry. It was taking place before, but now in 2020, people had to very quickly figure it out because the congregations, specifically in churches, but not just churches, parachurches as well, they could not gather together. So they had to, in very short order, figure out how to do virtual ministry, not just for their sermons, but for other things. There were people that did virtual missions trips. They did virtual summer camps. All of these virtual experiences took place during that time of COVID. What has transpired because of that, and really what has kind of come to the forefront, is that people, they have grown to appreciate the convenience of virtual. And to pull virtual out and not have it be an offering in your ministry is something that is, at this point, probably going to hurt you. So virtual, in some way, shape, or form, is really here to stay. And there's been a lot of good things that have taken place because of virtual. There have also been some challenges, specifically in the church, that gathering on a Sunday of the body, it is fluctuating because of virtual. The good of virtual is that you can literally do a broadcast and you are reaching hundreds and sometimes thousands of people virtually. And so we need to negotiate in each of our ministries, and they're all different, right? But we need to negotiate what role is virtual playing right now and what will the role be of virtual in the future, because it's not going away. It is now an expectation. It's now a baseline of people who are engaged in your ministry. So that's number 1. That's trend number 1. Number 2 is, yes, I almost forgot it. Oh, this one kind of saddens my heart. The sacredness of church nights is falling by the wayside very, very quickly. The sacredness of a Wednesday night, the sacredness of a Sunday morning, the sacredness of a Sunday night is falling by the wayside very, very quickly. And there are a number of different reasons for that. in our area, and a lot of times, throughout the country, and even any country, Wednesday night, but I'll just use our area as an example, I'm sure most people are the same, is defined as church night. A lot of times for youth kids to go to a youth group. If they're Catholic, they go to catechism, whatever. It is defined as a youth night, and generally sports are required to shut down between 5 and 6 p.m. so the athletes that are participating in sports can get to their church night. And that is falling by the wayside. It's falling by the wayside for a number of different reasons. And it's not just sports. There's a lot of other activities, but I'll use sports as an example. Now practices are going into Wednesday night. And even if a school is saying you can't have a practice on a Wednesday night, they put a team meal on a Wednesday night. They're looking for any open time period to gather their teams together and work with them. And Wednesday is no longer a sacred time that is untouchable. It is the flow of the sports culture and other cultures as well. I think drama is moving into this direction. Any other extracurricular activity, the evening of Wednesday night is fair game, because in the past it has been defined for the church, and now it is now these extracurricular activities in terms of young people, but it's young and old, but that Wednesday night is actually looked upon as, hey, there is an opening for us to place this part of our program into that open part of the schedule. It is no longer sacred on a Wednesday night. And honestly, Sunday morning has been hit too. I can remember we were having a discussion with this as a family recently. I remember when Sunday, there were no businesses open. You could not go out for Sunday dinner, Sunday lunch after church. It wasn't an option. There was nothing open. And honestly, I miss that. Nobody was going to work. There might have been a gas station open, but I'm not even sure if the grocery stores were open. I know there was a time where they weren't open, but now everything is open. And it used to be in our area that, okay, Sunday closing, things will not open up until noon. Well, now things are open even before noon. And the sacredness of Sunday morning church is falling. It's falling apart. And you think of, no longer is Wednesday night sacred, no longer is Sunday morning as sacred, or Sunday night for that matter. How do we address our calling to share the hope of Christ and be disciples who make disciples? And real quickly, one of the things that we always have to really discern is, what is the path of the culture, and can we put ministry into that path? And that, I'm going to shoot a different video on that, but you want to think in terms of, now, let me say this, Wednesday night is falling by the wayside. But if you are going to do an activity for young people that is ministry based in the week, it is still Wednesday night, right? It still is Wednesday night. But good examples of things that are put into the path of the culture, I'll use like Fellowship of Christian Athletes. They will do, they'll do Friday night prayer things, prayer events after a football game. I think they even call them Friday Night Lights. After a football game, they'll have a prayer service on the field, which is really cool. They will do devotions and Bible studies during state track meets in our areas. This is a ministry going into the path of the culture and sharing the hope of Christ. And so as the sacredness of Wednesday and Sundays wanes, we need to be more aware of how do we place ministry in the path of the culture. So that's number 2. Number 3, I got to take a quick look. Is that we're going to see, and we're seeing it now, and this is actually part of why God Dream University exists. There's a growth and a hunger, I think, of people to use their gifts to do ministry in the church, but also outside of the church. There's really a hunger for people that want to be, as they are being served within the walls of the church, there is a growing hunger for them too to become disciple makers. And the church does not necessarily have to provide all the programming for every person to do ministry. There's a growing opportunity for people to do ministry in the church and serve the church, but use their gifts outside of the church. I think there was a recent study that said that on any given Sunday, 80% of any community does not set foot into church. And so what we have tried to do in the past is say, how do we get that 80% into church? And I think what's happening is that's being flipped upside down. And we are now seeing more and more attention to saying, how do we mentor, grow, and disciple the 20% to go out and reach the 80% in the world? And that's what God Dream University does, right? Is we mentor people to start and grow ministries in an effort to come alongside the church in the mission of sharing Christ and discipling people. So those are the three trends, right? We see that virtual is here to stay. We see that sacredness on Wednesdays and Sundays. It's waning, but we can still reach people, right? Doesn't mean that all hope is lost. It's just a recognition that the game is changing. And then we see that there is a growth of people. And this is something I think that is good, that people are hungering and yearning to use their gifts to serve God. And rather than try and pull the 80% into the church, there is a trend that we see where we are mentoring and discipling people, those 20% to go out and use their gifts in the world and in the circles of influence that they have to reach that 80%. So my hope is that you can kind of chew on these and maybe talk about it with friends or talk about it as a staff if you are a ministry, and really, put your 2 cents into it. And I'd appreciate comments on the video as well. If you agree, if you disagree, if you say, this guy's crazy, he's had too much coffee, I'm good with that. But these are trends that we see in our ministry that we are aware of and we are trying to handle. And again, God Dream University exists to really serve that last one. We want to come alongside people who want to start and grow their ministry. And again, the free masterclass, 3 Secrets to Start and Grow Your Ministry, there's a link in the description. Take a look at it. I filmed it with the motive of serving you. And at the end of it, we even show you what the mastermind looks like if you want to take a look at that. So take advantage of that. It's just there to serve you and inspire you and continue to have you be empowered to use your gifts to serve the Lord. You can do it. I know this for sure. You're never going to be more alive than when you are using the gifts that God has created you to use to do ministry. How's that for just a terrible ending? Let me say that again. You're never going to be more alive than when you're doing the ministry that God has created you to do. And He has created you. He has fashioned you to do ministry in a powerful way. God bless. Hey, if you enjoyed this piece of content and felt like there was value in the content provided, or perhaps this information could minister and speak into the lives of other people, maybe even friends that you have, I'm going to ask for your help. Would you please subscribe to this channel so we can join hands together and lead people to become more ministry focused in their lives? Thanks so much. God bless.